Chapter 6 of Fantastic Mr. Fox is called The Race. Now there began a desperate race, the machines against the foxes. In the beginning, the hill looked like this. After about an hour, as the machines bit away more and more soil from the hilltop, it looked like this. Sometimes the foxes would gain a little ground and the clanking noises would grow fainter, and Mr. Fox would say, "We're going to make it, I'm sure we are." But then a few moments later, the machines would come back at them, and the crunch of the mighty shovels would get louder and louder. Once the foxes actually saw the sharp metal edge of one of the shovels as it scraped up the earth just behind them. "Keep going, my darlings," panted Mr. Fox. "Don't give up." "Keep going," the fat Boggis shouted to Bunsen Bean. "We'll get him any moment now." "Have you caught sight of him yet?" Bean called back. "Not yet," shouted Boggis, "but I think you're close." "I'll pick him up with my bucket," shouted Bunce. "I'll chop him to pieces." But by lunchtime, the machines were still at it, and so were the poor foxes. The hill now looked like this. The farmers didn't stop for lunch. They were too keen to finish the job. "Hey there, Mr. Fox," yelled Bunce, leaning out of his tractor. "We're coming to get you now." You've had your last chicken," yelled Boggis. "You'll never come prowling around my farm again." A sort of madness had taken hold of the three men. The tall, skinny Bean and dwarfish, pot-bellied Bunce were driving their machines like maniacs, racing the motors and making the shovels dig at a terrific speed. The fat Boggis was hopping about like a dervish and shouting, "Faster! Faster!" By 5 o'clock in the afternoon, this is what had happened to the hill. The hole the machines had dug was like the crater of a volcano. It was such an extraordinary sight that crowds of people came rushing out from the surrounding villages to have a look. They stood on the edge of the crater and stared down at Boggis and Bunce and Bean. "Hey there, Boggis, what's going on?" "We're after a fox." "You must be mad." The people jeered and laughed, but this only made the three farmers more furious and more obstinate and more determined than ever not to give up until they had caught the fox. Well, that was chapter 6, and here is your follow-up task. So I want you to find the definition of a new word. So as you will see in red on this task, there are 4 new words that I would like you to find out and write down the meanings of them. So your task is to find and write the meanings of the new words below. So we've got desperate, dervish, jeered, and crater. So you could use a dictionary if you have one at home. You may need to ask an adult to help you use your dictionary and find your way about it. Or you can use Google to find out online. So you could go onto Google and type in each of these words to find out what they mean. When you have found the meaning, remember to write it down. You could feel free to practice these new words using some of our spelling strategies such as pyramid or rainbow writing. And if you want to challenge yourself at the end, you could even try and put these new words into some sentences now that you know what they mean. So the main part is that you've got to find out what each one means and write down the meaning. So that's the one thing that you have to do. And then some extra practice and challenging yourself are little extra tasks if you've got some time to do them. That would be great to see.